before you close business, at least to consider that. 8 years ago, the school board negotiated a contract with Manchester and specifically negotiated line number 2, the line we're all talking about. That line does not say hardship. It would not make any sense for it to say hardship, because hardship is proven and paid for by state law, whether you have it in a contract or whether you don't. I would argue that line is there for today, for this situation, for parents that want to opt out and want to try to convince this school board that they can opt out without a hardship. Because we can all go through hardship anytime we want, any place we want, any grade, it doesn't matter. You have said it's not illegal with your current tuition agreement. The parents that I know are all willing to abide by that tuition sharing agreement. Some pay as much as $5,000 a year. That's how much they're willing to do it. One of your board members referred to the other schools as better schools. So we're attempting to exercise the rights negotiated in the contract to provide the best education for our children, which is not illegal, and provide our own money to not provide any additional cost to the district. And we are not hearing our school board defending that. We're hearing our school board defend Manchester. We're hearing our school board with fear of possible litigation with a law that hasn't been challenged. There's many things that haven't been challenged in the court. This process has been going on for 8 years. You've also said that there's been no complaints from Manchester. So what are we acting on? Fear? That's what we're acting on here. Anticipation of something that could happen to this situation. And because of that, our children are not going to be provided the educational opportunity that we feel is best for them, even though we're willing to pay for it. I would add to that that with hardship, you do have to pay. I'm not disputing any part of that. 2 years ago, I sent a letter to this board that consisted of 3 lines of type that basically said, I would like my daughter to go to Pembroke High School, she's been accepted, and I'm going to provide transportation and tuition. I was accepted. So, I'm asking you as my next question for your next agenda, will you be paying my next tuition bill for Pembroke High School? Because my daughter was accepted under hardship, JCB. And therefore, if this is the position you're going to take, then I would expect you to take over the payments for my daughter's high school. Thank you.
Addressing the educational, I just want to put down to the record that my daughter was accepted into Bow last year, and again, I only wrote a letter. I didn't even know the words educational hardship or anything I needed to meet. So I now have a daughter that's going to be going to high school for another 3 years. And could she go to Central? Probably. My other daughter, that was a different situation, and I really thought that she would do better in a different school. So for me, I thought it was great that I had, the ability to be able to write you a letter, make a request. I didn't know I even had to meet an educational hardship. So I guess my question is, I don't know if the two of you were on the board last year, but you seemed completely surprised that this, that you wouldn't have, said it was okay for her to go, that that this was a policy that you didn't agree with. I guess my question is, why wasn't I told I needed to meet an educational hardship? Because now you've changed the policy. It's almost like saying that you were for it before you were against it. And that's not okay, not for us as parents who want to have that choice. So I'm respectfully just trying to make a point. And I wasn't a savvy parent. I just was told by other parents who were able to do this that I just had to write a letter. And I did. And you know what? It's been a great thing for my daughter. She's done fantastic at Bow High School. I paid $6,000 a year to send her there. I could have sent her to Trinity for $2,000 more, and I had the money to do it. But I didn't because I believe in the public school system. I like Bow High School, and it's worked out great for us. So I just wanted to make that point. I just respectfully disagree with your change in policy, which is really what it is. So thank you very much.
James Maloney, 18 Fort Ave. First of all, actually, I want to say thank you to the board member for having actually an open conversation and frank conversation about some of the concerns that have been brought up. That's actually very encouraging. Along those lines, I mean, you know that the budget is tight for the school and the parents and everybody else. I hope that same conversation happens with BYOD. Whether it turns out for or against it, when that mid-year analysis is done, I hope it is a true assessment, because whether you put the resources towards that or perhaps some other mechanism for achieving a better education for our children, it's just important to weigh out the proper use of those resources. And then I agree, I'm relatively new. I probably consider a newbie to Eclipse, but I went to the high school discussion with parents who were going on for about 20 years. And I agree with you. I think this situation with the high school, actually I brought it up at the last high school meeting we had, that people would vote with their feet. And that's exactly what is starting to happen. And I think what you're attacking is actually, well, what you're having to address right now is really a symptom of a larger issue, which is people's feeling that they're disconnected from their children's education and that perhaps they're not receiving the kind of education they want. And you guys do a great job for the lower grade levels. You really do. I mean, my kids have had a fantastic opportunity at Underhill. Absolutely love the school there. But I think there's a lot of frustration around the high school situation. I mean, it's manifesting itself in this. I like the frank discussion. I think that needs to continue. I think it's one of the ideas that was brought up is some sort of representation in Manchester to help us kind of address some of the concerns that we have. Since the money's going there, we should have some sort of voice. But I think it's really, you need to treat the core problem. What is the real problem? It's NIT. And not just the symptom, because it will manifest itself in other ways through litigation, lawsuits from parents. That's what's going to happen.
Do this 14 North Drive.
You started.
The administrative rule, New Hampshire Administrative Rule 320, is not being used in the spirit that it was written. If you look at the references and the history of that rule, that was not made for districts trying to decide what's best for their students to go to high school placement. That was written for protection for the students in a school where a hardship occurs, that they have the right to be assigned to another school. So the number 37 was talked about. Can we find out for the next meeting, can we have the numbers of students that each year, for the last 10 years, that have been sent to another high school outside of Manchester? Can we get that for the next meeting or something? Because I think it's probably 6, 7, or 8 students a year, would be my guess. And I was wondering how it could be a breach of contract when you're following exactly what the contract says. The contract with Manchester does not say maximum of 10 students a year or something like that. It doesn't. It says on a case-by-case basis. I don't see how, in any manner, that could be considered a breach of contract. And again, it doesn't cost anything for hooks it. I don't see when, I'm wondering when the money diverted from Manchester, and we're talking a very small amount for the Manchester budget, maybe 1/40th of 1% of their budget. But when has that money that's diverted to other surrounding towns become more important than what's best for the Hooksett students and taxpayers? I don't know when, how come that occurred, and that change occurred, when that became more important, that 10,000 or it's 9,000 per student, so whatever it is, 100,000 a year, doesn't matter. It's so small compared to their overall budget. And it does go to surrounding towns here too, and it's in the contract. So I'm just wondering how why right now this was all changed and what the numbers were for the last 10 years, if we can get that next meeting, because I don't think this much is being conveyed. Thank you.
Thank you, school board members. I know that you're all volunteers and serving on the board. We don't always appreciate your time, but thank you for hearing us. For one, a little, sitting in this meeting, just a little perturbed by the fact that people have mentioned that is, when you sit on the board of the town of Hook City, you represent the town of Hook City taxpayers, and that's all of us. And you look at the point of view, what is good for the town of Hook City and its residents. It shouldn't be your personal agenda, not the city of Manchester's agenda, but actually what's best for the town of Hook City. I just look in the audience tonight, I don't see a lot of 60, 70-year-old taxpayers out there worried that we're going to break contract with the city of Manchester and they're going to sue us and your tax rate's going to go up. Instead, I see a lot of parents in the audience that are here tonight. And whenever I sit on the board, you usually look out into the audience and you pay attention to the audience and you see who's showing up and what they're voicing are their opinions. Because those are the people that you serve for. I mean, it's just my opinion. I'm not trying to banter you and bang on you. Just to let you know that I don't understand how you guys have come to this situation where, for some reason, people are trying to bring their kids, or at least they're trying to show the board, obviously, because there's been a high request. And I can understand that the biggest problem is what you're looking at right now is why are the students from Hook City, especially the parents, requesting that they don't want their kids to go to Manchester schools. That's what you should be really answering here. That's the problem. It's not that we don't want to go to Manchester schools for some reason or another. It's why just me? Is it my kids? Is it my parents? No, it's a lot of parents. And that's the question you should be answering. Why so many parents? Why now? And instead of just going, well, we don't want to find out. We'll just put a kibosh to it. We'll put an end to it. That's not serving the residents' purpose. Good luck with this. Thank you.
O'Hara was here last meeting, as you know, and for the teachers over here, my daughter, Lindsay O'Hara, which you know very well, was denied access into Pinkerton this year, which was very devastating to her, which I mentioned last week. And I'm reading in the papers and hearing all of your input tonight was very discouraging. Again, you're talking that you're making business decisions, but what is your business? Your business is educating children of Hooksett. And what is the best thing for the kids on Hooksett? Many of these, I see younger educators here. They've learned a lot about what it means to educate students. We have APPLES programs now. We have a lot of new innovative programs. We're finding out that students do better if you match them up with their students, their teachers, their programs. This is where America, I'm talking about America, has gone wrong. We are not looking at what's best for our students. We have other countries that are beating us, and they are going to take over. And I'm not saying take over America, but take over. They're taking over businesses. They're taking over lots of things. And it's little towns like us that had that opportunity. We've had that opportunity for 8 to 9 years. If you have rubber stamped something that was very, very good for us, they can be matched to where they should be most appropriate. Where the parents savvy? I don't feel savvy right now. I did a great injustice to my child, making her believe that she could send a letter to the school board and she will be accepted into Pinkerton. And last meeting, you denied her. You made a comment about Pinkerton maybe sending better doctors. Maybe it was in reference to my particular thing. It wasn't doctors, but the fact that they have animal science program and equestrian program, which is her passion and her love. I thought, great, I live in Hooksett. I have a daughter that goes to Central doing very well, but I can now send my other daughter to Pinkerton because you have rubber stamped every request for 8 to 9 years. So I want you, I've listened to your answers, but they just seem so backwards to me. Why aren't we forward thinking of what is best for our children, for our students? We're doing it in our grade schools. We're bringing in new programs, and we're making them and matching them to the students. We're making it better, educational ones. Why stop there? Then we send them off. I'm not saying there's anything necessarily wrong with Central. My daughter's doing very well there as a sophomore, level 3, 4, and she takes AP classes as a sophomore. Great opportunity for her, but when you get to level 1 and level 2, you have a lot of issues. The superintendent was here and told you how unutilized that is. It's 37 to 50 kids from Hooksett going to solve that problem.